Hey, what's up, guys? This is a video I'm doing for Mr. George Allen. George Allen, a great part of the vinyl community. I've been watching him for about 2 years since he came out. Terrific guy, very laid back. He's having a push to 400 subs, and he should be there. I mean, what's up? Come on, guys, check out George Allen's channel. Very knowledgeable guy. This is about singer-songwriters, Americana, folk music, if you will, which is right up my alley. Back in the 90s, I was the music director and DJ for 2 different Americana stations, one in Texas and one here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And I love Americana, so this is straight up my alley. 7 to 10 minutes, he wants the video, about 5 albums. All my videos are about 7 to 10 minutes. This is the one that may go long. I'm sorry, George, but you know, you got me fired up on this. Singer-songwriters is the base of Americana music. Singer-songwriter and bluegrass. Without those two coming together, there would be no Americana, and that's how it is. Back in the day, Americana had to have that twang to it. Singer-songwriter, that's how it was. I'm going to start off singer-songwriter with the late Dwayne Jarvis. I can't do this video without paying tribute to my friend, Dwayne Jarvis. Watermelon Records. We lost him to cancer, and he was a friend of mine, and he was a wonderful songwriter, singer. And, you know, one thing about singer-songwriters is they could take somebody else's song and make it their own. And that's a really cool thing to do, like Emmylou Harris. A brilliant songwriter. The beautiful Emmylou Harris. One of the best albums she has is Wrecking Ball, where she covers her favorite songwriters, which is a really cool thing. She's covering all her favorite songwriters, like Steve Earl. I think she does Guy Clark on here. She does Gillian Welch. So I love it when a songwriter can take someone else's music and make it their own. And speaking of Gillian Welch, her debut album, this blew up on the Americana charts back in the day. It was voted the #1 Americana album of the year. James Mcmurtry. This guy, he's a legend. He really is in the Americana community. James Mcmurtry writes about real life, very simple but complex stuff. Sings about frickin' an accident on the highway. He sings about frickin', the 4th of July, your grandmother dying in one of his songs. Just very cool songwriter. Robert Earl Keane Jr. Well, back then it was Jr. Now it's just Robert Earl Keane. Robert Earl Keane, great songwriter. Another guy that could do other people's music and make it his own. Like he recorded a Nancy Griffith song. It's not on this album, but he did our version of Swerving in My Lane by the great Nancy Griffith, who we lost, I think it was last year. Robert Earl Keane. He also covers a Terry Allen song. Terry Allen wrote Armadillo Highway. Terry Allen was a singer-songwriter, or is a singer-songwriter, but he's a piano player. It's just him and his piano for most parts. A lot of times he has Lloyd Maines with him. Lloyd Maines, the father of Emily Maines, also a great producer, singer-songwriter extraordinaire. Todd Snyder. I've met this kid way back in the day. He's not a kid anymore. He's a grown-ass man. But Todd Snyder debuted in the 90s. Great singer-songwriter in the Americana chart. This is his last album, The First Agnostic Church of Hope and Wonder. Todd Snyder, he writes some deep stuff. And of course, you got Jerry Jeff Walker. Jerry Jeff Walker, he wrote the song Mr. Bojangles. And he did that song in concert, and a lot of times people thought he was doing a cover song. He wrote Mr. Bojangles. But he would cover people like Guy Clark, the great Guy Clark with LA Freeway. And he just did a wonderful job of LA Freeway by Guy Clark. Of course, Guy Clark, another Texas singer-songwriter, the wonderful Guy Clark. And Guy Clark, he inspired Steve Earle so much, Steve Earle had to pay tribute to him. And he made a full album called Guy. He's redoing all of Guy's music. Steve Earle covering another songwriter's music. Steve Earle also covered his son's music in JT, Justin Townes Earle. Of course, Steve Earle himself is just one of the best songwriters ever. You can't talk about songwriters without talking about Townes Van Zandt. And Steve Earle did a tribute album to him as well. And last but not least, Mr. Billy Joe Shaver. I had the privilege of meeting him a few different times. That's the late Billy Joe Shaver and his late son, Eddie Shaver. Wonderful singer-songwriter. George, I think I got this in time. I showed more than I was supposed to, but I'm sure that's cool because I'm getting it under the 7-minute mark. Peace, George Allen. Thank you for being part of the VC. If you don't know who George is, please go check out his channel and sub him up. And peace, and take time to be good to yourself today.